welcome everyone to Meet the Leadership. I'm your interviewer, Cpt.Vegas, and today I'm interviewing Deus. Hello, Deus.
See, I was contracted into this, and they paid me like $50 million, and I tried to add an extra zero, and Abdul caught me.
Oh, really?
It was kinda...
You were forced.
So now I'm kind of unwillingly doing this.
Oh, okay. Well, that's great. Okay, but then since you don't want to be here, let's jump into the first question. So you were promoted to full member about a month ago, June 12th, and you were promoted to advisor less than a month after that. Were you focusing on trying to get leadership, or were you just doing your thing and got leadership anyway?
I think I got junior 4 days after the admin mod rollout, unless that was late January. We were working on SAM 2 and the new updated versions of source mod and stuff, which removed tagging. Thank Christ that I didn't have to deal with that for very long. Cat, please. Which was on Valentine's Day. And for, I'd say, 2 weeks, maybe 3 after that, I was just trying to be, a cool guy and everything. And then I think it was around Easter, maybe? The Easter promos, and I didn't really care that I didn't get member. It wasn't really a big deal to me, but I did realize at the time that I just didn't really want to put a lot of effort into it. And around summer promotions, some people did some stuff that made me extremely pissed, and I was livid at them for it. And so what I ended up doing is I perked up, I took my chin off, I put a tie on, and basically I am where I am to prove a point out of spite, essentially. That's what I did, and it worked.
I see that.
I did a ton of work before that, and that was because I enjoyed mapping, and that's about it.
Alright. So, speaking of mapping and coding, when did you first start coding and mapping?
Coding is... I've done it a lot, but I've never become proficient in it. I've been really terrible, but I understand the basic fundamentals, and that's pretty much all that matters. And I understand pretty much everything internally on a very proficient level. I'm really good at that. However, I just can't get the language of it down. Same, just like Source Pawn and Lua, and it's just really extremely weird to me. Mapping. I think it was when when Source SDK got an update, and it included some fun stuff. And what I ended up doing is I opened it up and I was confused out of my fucking mind. And then after dropping it for say 4 years, I picked it back up again and watched a lovely man's tutorials. His name was Top Hat Waffle, and he was just he clearly explained everything, and it was so easy from then on out. And everything else I learned just by creating test maps, one of which I used as an example to apply for Tech Team. And that was pretty fun.
Alright, so a little follow-up question. Was it hard or easy to learn these new methods of coding and mapping?
I'd say, for anyone who wants to learn coding, I would recommend that you get a basic understanding of the limitations of the Source engine, because it's sort of like a box. It's suddenly a big box, and then its walls close in and in and in and in and in, and then you're like, oh shit, I'm fucked up. How do I fix this? And then you go cry in a corner because you didn't fix it. For mapping, it's really easy to learn if you do it my method. My method is you sort of use the camera view as a 3D editor to get the ropes, and then you later on switch to the grid when you feel that you've learned mapping efficiently. More on this if somebody ever asks me. I always when people ask me how to map, I would get, back when I was doing a bunch of work, I would get PMs per day. I still have them saved because they meant a lot to me. People who would come to me for help, I didn't really I still don't consider myself that great of a mapper, solely because I'm not very creative, but I'm pretty intuitive with how the engine works, how connecting things goes. And I was pretty honored that people wanted to come, so I would just link them Top Hat Waffles tutorial and give them some of my own tips. And it was fun.
Alright, yeah, that sounds really good. And I'm glad people ask about stuff. Learning new stuff is the best thing you can really do. And so now let's get to the next question. Your regional advisor position was maintenance. Why did it change to mapping?
Maintenance, the position was planned out as I do what I do now, which is have full server access capabilities, which is what I have now, excluding website TeamSpeak. And I would make sure everything is updated, i.e. source mod, i.e. anything really. Make sure the servers are functional, i.e. everything, because Drew didn't really have time to do that. Jay was off doing website stuff, and Gambit isn't very autonomous. He'll do his thing, but he'll only do it when he's assigned it. And that's pretty good. He's really good at his job and everything. But he's not very autonomous, so he doesn't really actively seek out projects for himself. However, essentially I was to replace Jay's job, like his sub job was just uploading everything. And then after some minor dispute, it was swapped over to mapping. And I think Drew's gonna swap it back one day. He said he would, just so that, you know, I didn't have to be associated in the same, like, letter group as, I don't know, Qadassa, because he's kind of... Being associated with Qadassa is, like, well, existing, and that's pretty bad.
Alright. You do a lot of work on our servers. Does it feel rewarding when you see people playing on PG servers and enjoying what you've done?
The first thing I did in PG for a personal project was Desert Mountain, which is something I still continue to work on to this day, but haven't released anything beyond the original version. Desert Mountain was something that popped into my head while I was playing Ski Mountain. For those who didn't know, I came to the community off of minigames, and I enjoy minigames. I love minigames, and I will continue to support minigames, and if Abdul ever tries to shut it down, I will make sure that his hand will have to go to the hospital of missing hands. And it's essentially one of my pride projects. However, I've sort of grown away from Counter-Strike due to issues with the population of Counter-Strike and how they deal with people specifically. However, I've recently started to grow back into them, and doing more and more projects for Counter-Strike is very rewarding after spending an entire month on a Gary's mod update, and that was... Please save me. The murder server is probably my favorite to do work with because their feedback is so excellent, and they're always willing to provide their opinions forward, and they have some great insight on stuff. And I think I've done the most work for them overall, map-wise, solely because they're always quick with their feedback and they're willing to test stuff and everything. I believe I have 3 maps customized from me on their servers, one of them being Cliffside House, which I gave a little makeover, made it a bit slight better, and MU Subway, which I completely redid, which was really fun to do. And then there was MU Janitor, which was a slender map converted, which I do need to still cut in half. Fuck. But the Murderer server is probably my favorite to do stuff for, and whenever I go on, seeing those 3 maps, or not 3, those first two maps as majorly played maps makes me pretty happy because they have hundreds of plays. They always have hundreds of plays, and it's pretty fun to just watch that counter go up sometimes. And it gives me some motivation to continue.
Alright, that sounds really good. And speaking of servers, do you have any info, any servers coming up soon?
Alright, so I'm not supposed to tell you this, but I reached down into Abdul's pocket and I pickpocketed something. It's called CS Murder.
Ooh.
Replace
What is
Abdul
this
with
CS
John, by the
Murder?
way. Well, CS murder is fuck you, I'm not telling you.
Oh, well then.
But I pickpocketed Abdul and John, and I stole it from them, and now I'm gonna bring it up as my own, and it's mine now. So CS murder. Who else remembers February when John dropped that on everybody?
I don't. I probably wasn't here. I joined in February, so yeah, unfortunately. But
I've
yeah,
been waiting for CS murder for 5 months now.
I'm sure it would be great then. All right. So a little bit of a personal question. What kind of trust name for a gamer is Deus Vult?
I don't know what kind of trash name is Cpt.Vegas.
I don't know either. Right. So no, but please explain a little bit about how did you come up with your name Deus Vult?
Deus Vult is a Latin saying. It means God wills it. And it was used during the Crusades. Pope Urban, or whatever the fuck his name, or Leo, I don't give a fuck. He, I believe, started the Crusades in historical accountment for it. He started the Crusades with the words Deus Vult. And that sort of became the nominal saying of the Crusaders, of, say, the Knights Templar and the Knights Hospitaller, who would be used as sort of holy orders for the Pope and his people. I haven't always been an enthusiast, but my main enthusiasm before I was a Crusader person, I was sort of like a cyberpunk person. I was always looking towards the future, and I've sort of gone back to that a bit more recently. But it's Deus Vult kind of stuck with me, and actually joined the community accidentally with the name, because Architect will remember this. I joined the community with the name Deus Status X Volt, not Volt, and that was because that was my name on Steam at the time, and I didn't realize until like 3 months in that I could change that. So when I fucked up making my form account, I just made an account with the name Deus Volt. And it was sort of weird because my online handles before then have been very weird. And like Drew Earth, I used to play Half-Life 2 roleplay quite a bit for years and years and years on end. And I would have a name for that, and it's quite grown on me, Deus Vult. Except, you know, everybody mispronounces it in it. Because apparently they don't know what Latin is. Makes me sad. Shut up, Qadassa.
Alright. So what is the one thing in history that you would change if you could?
The one thing in history that I could change if I could.
Yep. Anything at all? What comes to mind first?
There was a time, I'd say 8-9 years ago. I was in the schoolyard. I was just hanging out. And I was going over to talk to somebody I really liked at the time. And on the way, I stubbed my toe on the bench. And I hurt. I broke the toe. And they laughed at me. And that made me really sad and actually kind of dropped my confidence for a while. And that kind of fucked me up for like a year. Despite how babyish that sounds, this person was kind of my life for half a year. I was really obsessed with them. But that passed when they came and visited me. They're like, "Are you okay?" Like, they suddenly remembered me like 6 months later. And it was extremely weird to me. But
yeah,
in world history, I would probably change... Wow, that's... Because there's so many main historical events. But if I were to change a complete historical event out of nowhere that could probably change the greater good, I would probably make it so that Qadassa wasn't born. And then... Because that was a major historical event, you know that, right? Like, it's on Wikipedia and everything.
Alright. Yeah, I should usually give everyone a link for that later. I should you'll want to read it. And
We'll tell April to put a Wikipedia page on the thing.
yeah, definitely. Right. So since we're talking about stuff you can do, what do you do in your free time?
Currently, or I guess more recently, I work as an IT, and it's
Okay.
I'm pretty okay at that. I worked at a bank. Before that, I used to work in bank archiving, which was really fun. And then before that, I worked at the news, and I was sort of like at the news place. Like, I don't really know how to explain the position. And to my friends, I would explain to it like I managed the night, and they would laugh at me, and it was pretty funny. But it was sort of like I made sure everybody got ready for everything, like 6 to 8 a.m. morning cast and everything. And that was sort of my job there, which is where I learned to be a bit bossy. I'm a pretty bossy person if you have ever talked to me, and I've considered that to be a redeeming quality because I like being bossy, and I don't like it necessarily. People who hang around me a lot know that I yell quite a bit, and I yell because mainly people don't listen, and that's one of my prime reasons for being such a cock to everybody, is because people don't seem to like to listen to a lot of stuff. And I picked up the skill from working there because everybody there was an absolute fucking idiot, and they would fuck everything up constantly, and that's what made me angry a lot. And sort of like started to calm down a bit, and then a major event for me happened in, I don't know, early February of this year, and now I've sort of rewinded all that progress and have gone downhill since then. Universe can confirm I was a much different person in January than I am now, solely because of that one event, which I won't go into detail. I don't want to make a sob story for everybody. But since then, I've sort of just re-established the bossy personality, which I guess people have gotten used to. I used to lead my old friend group before I joined PG quite a bit, and it's sort of just here now. I am bossing Drew around because, you know, Drew is an actual living meme, if you didn't know.
Yeah, I know. I'm sure we all know. Alright, so a bit of a food question. What's your favourite toppings on pizza?
Bacon, ham, and sausage. Yummity yum.
Just
yum.
simple like that. Nothing. You could say.
Oh, there's
exotic.
pepperonis and. Oh, what, you want me to say exotic of you? Because I would eat you on a pizza.
Well, not that kind of exotic, but thank you. I'll take that as a compliment. But anyway, alright, so how does it feel to have a pink banner on your advisor?
It feels terrible to be associated with sociopaths. Please fucking help me. I joke. It feels pretty okay. I joined Tech Team because of Universe, and Jay is spamming me. Apparently the database is down. High five. It used to be like I joined the community. I posted mapping showcases. I wanted feedback, and Universe posted my thread, top tier ship poster at the time. He told me to apply for Tech Team, and I was like, okay. And I got really spooked. And Universe and Jay interviewed me, and they trained me. Later on down the line, I figured out that it was a rigged setup all along, and that John was the mastermind behind it all. And it feels terrible because it's pink, and I've sort of adapted all of my avatars, which, April, you should put up on screen right now. I'll send you later. There's like 80 avatars. Before I figured out that JPEGs could fucking bypass the file size limit, so I made like 80 avatars like, please work, please work, please work. And none of them worked, and I was frustrated for a solid week. And I was so mad.
Right. So next questions, because that was Wrong answer. Right. What's your favorite meme? And I have a feeling Drewers is going to be the answer.
No, April is my favorite meme. Duh.
Ah. Okay. Can you elaborate on that? Why is your April favorite meme?
Let's not.
You know what? You know what? Fuck it. Yeah, we'll skip the favorite meme. Anyway, are you excited for any upcoming games of 2016?
Fuck yeah, I am.
All right. Which ones are those?
Halo fucking Wars 2, motherfucker. If you weren't
Okay.
excited for that, you're a fucking cuck. That's what you are.
Well, I never played Halo games, so I'm gonna have to disappoint you there. Never.
I'm being told to be nice, Vegas, and I was honestly about to scream at you. Then again, April hasn't seen any of the Star Wars movies until I showed her them. So.
Yeah. Alright. Anyway, do you wear pants during the summer? A random question out of nowhere.
Not when you're in the house, Vegas. No.
Yeah, I am. You don't?
Yes, I do. I wear sweatpants though, because it's
okay.
much easier to maneuver, especially during the sweaty Florida days.
Alright, so you go outside then, partially, at least sometimes, right? No? Maybe? No, okay. Anyway.
Wait, there's something called what? Outside?
Yeah?
I used to power level my skin rays outside.
Ah, wow, okay. So, okay, if you had a warning label, what would it say?
Do not touch. No, wait, I got this. Hammer.exe has stopped working. Do not touch. Because I'll bite your fucking fingers off.
Says that in tiny letters underneath then, yeah?
Not those. Nope, you don't want to warn them what I'm gonna do because that defeats the entire purpose. Plus, I don't get to eat fingers if you do.
Alright. Okay, well then, for the last questions of this interview, how do you plan to overthrow Drew Earth and become the new division manager?
So, I was in a bar one night. John walked up to me. He's cosplaying as Cersei Lannister. And he's like, when you play the Game of Thrones, you win or you die. And I'm like, okay. And he offered me $50, and Abdul came to the table and offered me 200 to overthrow Drew Earth. And I was like, okay, Abdul, I'll do it. And then, so what Drew Earth did, he was like, hey, Deus, how's it going? And I was like, advisor. And he's like, okay. So now I'm an advisor. And the next plan is, I've cut a deal with Jay. I'm gonna go ahead and give him, like, I don't know, half of the suggestions form in exchange for some Red Wedding type of deal with Drew Earth. And it'll be pretty good.
Alright. Sounds good. I think you can make it eventually. It won't take too long, probably. Anyway, that concludes the interview with Deus, and I will thank you for coming and letting me interview. And I hope you had a good time. Then let's keep on watching the next Meet the Leadership videos, and
don't watch the other
see
Meet the
the
Leadership
rest.
videos. Mine is
probably
the only one
want
worth
to
watching.
watch. No, maybe. Anyway, goodbye, and have a good day onwards. Thank you.